back, baby! Back from where? Well, nowhere in particular. I just haven't been on Facebook in a while. I actually deactivated my account. I did that because I was looking for a job. And I got a job. Now, why the hell would anybody want to get a job? Well, to be clear, I already had a job, so I technically got a new job. Okay? And, well, why did I want to get a new job? I mean, I was working, see, I very much contemplated what the jobs, right? I mean, we all know about jobs and money and our culture and our society. Yes, I mean, jobs, like nobody, jobs. Yeah. And so, I mean, I've struggled with this a bit because, obviously we have to make our contribution to society and we need to build things and have things. And if we want, houses and cars even, or, all the kind of stuff we have, food, that stuff, it takes work. And the society, we all get this. And so everybody has to make their contribution to a society. And, and then you get the money and then it gets distributed and then you spend your money and then, jobs, right? We work and, our labor and we all get it, right? And so, but, is it all corrupt? And are we really getting the value of our labor? And, could this all be some giant conspiracy? And is there a lot more going on? It's not just, working and money and labor. And so, I've struggled with that kind of, and I'm really, just conspiracies aside, and I'm a philosopher, man. I'm trying to figure out what's going on overall within the entire nature of existence. And, that's my true passion. I mean, conspiracy theories just kind of came second, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on just entirely. And so obviously that pertains to the entire nature of all existence. And then just kind of, okay, within this, I perceive that I am something in this sort of body and that I live in this world and we have these societies and their structures and, all that of what's going on with Earth and our different countries and our different governments. And so, that's all what's going on. And so I tried to figure all that out and try to understand what's happening here. And, first, I started out with a rather leftist perspective on this, and then I really got into philosophies, and I never really wavered from any of that perspective. I think we'd be better off if we lived to serve our communities rather than serving to gain capital, community over capital, right? Well, what does that indicate? Yeah, but here's the thing, and then I got into philosophy and realized, wait a second, they're lying to us about all this philosophy in our ancient history, and, well, that's all a big deal, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but sometimes I just kind of go off on tangents and start talking about all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, okay, so, why did I go get a job? Because I was trying to get grounded. Because, I think that's really, because I really contemplated, should I just kind of, go live in a van, not necessarily down by a river, but just in a van somewhere. See, that's the great thing about if you just live in a van, you can drive wherever you want. You don't have to stay by the river. You can live by the river sometimes, but then you can go live other places and you can just live out of your van and study philosophy all day and try to figure things out. And, then you don't have to go to work. You don't have to have a job. You can just study philosophy all day as long as you got the van paid off and have enough of your expenses paid. You can figure that out, You don't have to have a house. You don't have to have a mortgage or pay rent. That's a big expense, right? You're just going to kind of keep up your van and eat some food and then, figure out how to study philosophy all day. So I can't, but is that the life I want? Because I don't want to, this life with these jobs and these, I got to figure out what's going on here, man. I can't just go to work every day like some schlub. No, I didn't want to do that. But, and then I got, and all this stuff, and I don't waver on anything I've been talking about. I'm not taking any of that back. But I realized that, it's important to be grounded, and I think that's kind of the essence of the whole conspiracy is it kind of keeps us out of our states of, you can sit there and study philosophy and conspiracies all day and, develop a decent understanding of it to an extent and intellectually try to understand it. But if you're not that doesn't necessarily help us overcome the situation, because the situation might be that we're out of our full spectrum and, like full energy field, and you got to integrate all of that. Because, like, if everyone's just a little vibrating node in an energy field, and then, everything is really just vibrating nodes in an energy field or something like that. I'm just kind of talking loose here. I'm not trying to get all technical here, bro. Okay, so, it's all this big field of geometry and then, of vibrations. And the vibrations relate to the geometry. And then it all comes out of the quantum vacuum. And then, and then things integrate and they cohere. And then that creates a system over and above the sum of their parts, which then feeds back. And that feedback feed forward loop. Okay, I'm just kind of running over this real quick, all right? And so everything's like a little vibrating node in this energy field, and then it, sends information from its whole system back to its parts, and then it creates that system over and above the sum of its parts, refuting the entire premise of reductionism. And so, that's a huge part of all that I talk about. 6 minutes! It's already been a 6-minute video! This is supposed to be short, but I'm going and we're going. So, where are we? Alright, it was supposed to be why... Well, where was I going with that last thing? That last thing might have been kind of interesting to you. Maybe, I hope it's interesting to you. So maybe I'll make more videos on that. And, if people watch my videos, see, I like making videos, because I can be all goofy and fun. When you make a video, you can dance a little bit, right? You can't dance when you write. I mean, you can dance while you write, but then nobody knows about it. But do you dance so people know about it? That's not what I meant. All right. Oh, what did I mean? I don't know, man. I just talk and things happen. All right. So, where are we? I'm getting a phone call. Potential spam. Annoying. Anyway. So, why? So you want to get... So I think the whole conspiracy is, the things are... So you're already, it's the entire nature of all existence. I do not think it's a conspiracy. And I think, there's a huge aspect of like spirituality that I think is important, and you want to how do you say it here? Raise your consciousness. Yeah, it's a cliche. What does that mean? I talk about shit like that all the time. What does it mean? Well, that's what I try to figure out, man. Right? And, what does it mean? We're not going to get into all that, because I like, if I'm going to say these things, I like to have a well-rounded understanding. I don't like to just use words other people say. I like to try, I spend a lot of time figuring out, like, what even is vibration? Right? And I hear this term information and all these things. Like, well, what is that? And a lot of it comes down to, like, geometry, I think. And then that's, like, the fundamental structure. And then Plato's forms, I think, kind of deal with that. And, I mean, I'm into that understanding in terms of, like, an idealism. And it's all, like, the form exists metaphysically. And then, our perceptions and our reality are, just a more... perceived sense of like what we could think of a higher dimensional, if you will, kind of a form, and then in our reality. See, all right, look, I mean, I'm not always prepared to just go off on all this stuff, because it's very, if you really want to get technical with it, it takes a lot of work to really, hash out all these ideas. So, I mean, okay, I was gonna do like a little short video here about, hey, I'm back on Facebook, because I was gone for a little bit, and now I'm back. But then I keep going off on this tangent. And so why? I was trying to get grounded. I wanted to be grounded. Because I think I was too off trying to figure out all this philosophy and conspiracy. And then I wasn't really living a good, healthy, full life. Now, if you want to opine on what a good, healthy, full life is, you're doing philosophy. And your philosophy should be fully consistent. See, sometimes people I'm into mainstream science, cosmological model, and they're on a full understanding, which is based on reductionism and physicalism, materialism, right? It is. I don't know how you don't know that. And you should know that if you ever listen to anything I've said. I don't know. I mean, it's very clearly mainstream science, or at least a large aspect of modern scientific paradigms have been built off of a materialistic philosophical premise. I mean, that's pretty clear if you ever like study this stuff. Anyways, so, and that's kind of my whole bit, man, the philosophy. And then I feel like that's part of that's the essence of the whole conspiracy is the philosophy. And then it's, it fully integrating into ourselves. Things, right? What gets promoted in our culture, like shallow sex and bad food and all these things that kind of keep you trapped in the material world. But then, I'm not a dualist here, so I don't think you're like the material world and then the spiritual world. I mean, that's the forms, and then, it's all connected geometrically, like holographically, fractally, right? But yeah, if you want a long, detailed explanation, well, this wasn't the right video. Sorry. This was a video about how I am back on Facebook. And I am. Now. I mean, I actually technically aren't yet when I'm filming this. But then I will be, and then I'll be back. Okay, what was that all about? Hey. I think that's, and by the way, I'm never going to tell you on the internet publicly what company I work for. I'm not going to post that on the internet because I want to remain separate. We're not the same thing. Well, my views don't reflect their views. Their views probably don't reflect my views. So, I like this job. And it's a cool job. And so I'm going to, also just going to post whatever I want on the internet. I don't see why that should be a problem. All right. Anyways, I'm back. And I'm trying to get grounded. That's kind of the essence of this.